Hi, and welcome to the Chauvet June webcast. My name is Frankie Valentine, and I'm one of the territory managers here at Chauvet. This particular webcast is really new and exciting because the guys really wanted to sit down and do something different. And I thought they did a great job at this. What they did was they took two bands who are local bands who are touring around here and decided that we were going to do a 24-hour setup for these bands. Okay, so what they had to do was they had to plan everything out, pick all the lights, get all the lights on the truss, fly the truss, get the band in, get them rocking all in 24 hours. So I thought this was 100% great, and it turned out looking really, really good. The cooler thing about this particular webcast, just so you know, the truss and everything that we did with all the lighting and all the band members were on 120 amp circuit. So I think, you know, if you can get, a lot of places don't have more than 20 amps or they don't have two legs, you know, it's great that you have that opportunity with the lights that we use to go ahead and be able to do it all on 120 amp circuit. The guy who took on the challenge is sitting right next to me. This is Allan Reiss. He's the product specialist right here, and obviously the LD for this whole show. So Allan, how did you feel about this particular 24-hour throw it at you thing?
Well, it was different for me. I never had to design a show in 24 hours. And now that design process includes choosing the products, the quantity of products, the fixture placement. They gave me the size of the stage and various other restrictions that I had to abide by, just to kind of make it different, to make it funky.
I got you.
You know, so some of those restrictions included were a 10-foot by 10-foot stage with trussing flown here in our warehouse in South Florida. I had to use one 20-amp circuit.
That's amazing right there alone. But
and that includes the band's equipment and all of our lights. So I had to figure out exactly how many products I can use, but because we're using LED products, I was able to fit a lot of them on that circuit along with the band's equipment. It had to be something affordable and cost-effective for the band to later purchase.
Gotcha.
And it also had to be used by our computerized DMX programming software, which is Show Express. But that wasn't a big obstacle for me.
Yeah,
I love it.
You know, yeah. Well, what are some of the obstacles you really ran into? Like, was there a lot of heat problems? I mean, I mean, did you have to have like 50 guys to do it in 24 hours? Or
actually,
what?
No. Once I came up with the design and the plot, I gave it to two other gentlemen that we have here working here, and it was basically three of us. And we set up the trussing, we flew the trussing with our motors, and the motors didn't count in the 20 amps.
Yeah.
And we flew our trussing, we set up the rig, we connected everything together, we DMX'd it all, and we gave that band a show.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that you might have, what, 6, 10 fixtures? Is that?
One would think if I was using conventional power cans, that's pretty much all I would be able to do. But because I was using LEDs, we were able to fit a tremendous amount of lighting fixtures on this 20-amp circuit. Fixtures such as the color strip, the LED Technostrobe, the Technostrobe RGB, the Scorpion Scan, the LED Rain 56, the 64. We even used an Arena Hazer.
Wow.
And the 200B, the LED Splash 200B, the LED Splash 2.
Did you have moving head fixtures too?
We also had two Q-Spot 152s and two Q-Spot 200s.
Wow.
All on the same circuit.
That's just amazing. You know what? Why don't we go to the videos and see what was done and check it out. All right, Allan, let's take a little time to go ahead and dissect this truss that you put together in this 24 hours. I noticed that you use the color strips.
Right.
You know, how many of those color strips do you use, and where do you use them, and how did you make them work?
All right. I used 12 color strips,
Okay.
and because I had a 10-foot by 10-foot area of stage, or trussing rather, I actually took the color strips and outlined the perimeter of that truss. So I had them starting on the front left, went towards the back, then went behind the drummer,
Okay.
and then came back up again. And then I had some more on the floor that provided uplight. So the primary focus of the ones that were suspended was to wash the fabric and give depth to the stage.
Gotcha.
And the ones that were on the ground actually were shooting up and giving depth and dimension and color to the musicians and to the instruments that were there. And because of the slave output on the color strips, with a single step in Show Express, I was able to make them chase from the front left all the way down, across the back, back up the front again on the other side, and then it hit the floor. I mean, that whole process probably took me about 10 to 12 seconds to program.
That's one of the reasons that I love that particular unit, because you can
absolutely.
you can do it even without the controller. So
Yep.
I mean, it's just phenomenal.
Yep.
I also noticed that you used the LED Splash 200B.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you use that particular wash fixture?
Well, that was the primary source of light,
Okay.
especially over the center. And I had 8 pieces of those, 8 LED Splash 200Bs. And those were pretty much aiming in every direction if you just sat there and looked up. But there was a reason for it.
So you only used 8, and you covered all the wash areas.
Oh, the center stage, yes.
Okay,
I was able
great.
to do that with those. And I had a few of them aiming back towards the drummer. I had a few aiming to the sides towards the guitarist. And I had a few aiming forward towards the lead singer and the same guitarist, so that it offered front lighting for the drummer, it offered side lighting for the side guitarist, and it offered backlighting for the lead singer and the front guitarist.
That's very cool. I also noticed you used the LED Splash 2. What are the two differences between that? I noticed, a lot of people don't know that we have a Splash series.
Right.
Okay, there's a 196, there's a 200B,
Right.
and there's a Splash 2.
Right.
What is the difference between the Splash 2 and the 200B?
Well, first and foremost is going to be the LEDs.
Okay.
Flash 2 offers high-powered 350 milliamp LEDs, or
Okay.
a lot of people know them as 1 watt.
Okay.
And the 200Bs are your standard 5 millimeter or quarter watt LEDs. So the Flash 2 is going to be a little bit brighter than the 200B was, but the main difference in the output was the 200Bs have a much wider beam angle or field angle, and the Flash 2s are much more narrow.
Okay.
So you've seen in concerts how they have park hands aiming towards the audience,
Yeah.
the front. And that's exactly what I did with the LED Splash 2s. It was just strictly to give a mid-air effect of ever-changing colors and strobing and, and all the other stuff the fixture has to offer.
To give more excitement so that the people out in the front see all those colors coming at them.
Exactly. It makes the people in the audience or the video watching feel as if they're a part of the show because we have lights aiming on them.
Gotcha.